morning, brothers and sisters. So glad you've joined me for today's devotion. We are in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5. And today I want to speak devotionally, not do a lot of teaching, just really speak from my heart about what spoke to my heart when I read this chapter. And it's verses 9 and 15. Verse 9, therefore we also have our ambition, whether at home or absent, whether alive in this body here on earth or absent from this body and with Christ in heaven, to be pleasing to Him. No matter where we are, our ambition, he says, is to please Jesus, to please God. And then verse 15, He died for all. Jesus died for everyone so that they who live might no longer live for themselves, but instead live for Him who died and rose again on their behalf. And Paul says in verse 9 that our ambition, his, mine, yours, all of us who are followers of Christ, our ambition is to be pleasing to Jesus Christ. And as I thought about that, I thought about it on two levels. One is my life as a whole, to say that, my existence, my years that God gives me, my life as a whole, I want it to be pleasing to God. The second level is day to day. And, the circumstances, the decisions I face, the issues of the day. So day to day, moment to moment, to be pleasing to the Lord. And I think sometimes it's easier for us to say, I want my life to be pleasing to God than it is in those moments that come our way each day, those moments to choose to be pleasing to God, because sometimes in those moments, emotions take over, frustrations take over, discouragement takes over, negative thinking takes over, and we get in our own way, we get inside our head, we get inside of our emotions, and rather than focusing on pleasing Jesus, we just react. And so I think it's easier sometimes to say, I want my life to please God than it is always to do that or apply it in the moments of daily living. Because, have you ever had a moment where the circumstances were such that you were focused on pleasing somebody else more than Jesus, getting someone else's approval or favor or help more than Jesus' approval or favor? I think that's one of the challenges in life. Verse 15, he says that Jesus died for everyone so that they who live might no longer live for themselves, but for Him who died and rose again on their behalf, that we live for Jesus and not self. And I do think that the day-to-day choices to live in a way to please God is easier if we have settled the big issue of I want my life to please God. I said a moment ago, the day-to-day is harder, but I'll tell you this. If you haven't settled the big issue that you want your life as a whole to be pleasing to Jesus, you're going to struggle more in those day-to-day moments than the person who has settled the big question. So if I say I want my life to be pleasing to Jesus, then it's easier in the day-to-day to say I want my life to please Jesus in this moment, in this circumstance. If I don't settle that big life issue, so the question of why I live is critical to how I live, critical to the daily decisions. Knowing why you are here is foundational to living as a disciple of Jesus. And so my prayer is that because I've settled the issue that I want my life to be pleasing to God, that day to day in the moments and the various circumstances, that He helps me remember that and be conscious of it, so that in those moments I live in a way that pleases Him. In those moments I live in a way that matches what I say I want my life to be. The truth is, my life is made up of my days, and my days are made up in moments. I wonder how many people in prison wish they could go back in time and just change 10 minutes of one day. They probably wouldn't be in prison. It's the moments that make the day. It's the days that make the life. Settle the issue that you want your life to be pleasing to Jesus, that you live for Him, and you'll find it easier to make those kind of decisions in the day-to-day. That's the word for today. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.